Good morning. This is Dr. McDaniel at GYN Corner. I'm a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist in New York City, and I'm bringing to you all things health-related for women. At the farm today, I'm very, very low-tech. I don't have a special camera like YouTubers and Facebook aficionados do. I just use my iPhone, and I'm not super well versed on how to use the iPhone for all of this, so I don't know how to twist it back and forth. I just use the over the shoulder. So you can see I'm at the horse farm. Jill's doing her lesson today. She's outside today to get a little bit of fresh air from being inside usually she's inside the huge barn, the indoor riding area. But today she's outside doing jumps. And it's quite cool here in the Northeast. It's, I think it was like 52, 53 this morning when we came out. And it's really nice and pretty, nice and clear, not a cloud in the sky. And the sun is shining brightly, as you can see, but it's chilly. It's a wind chill factor because of the wind. It's quite chilly this morning, so usually it will warm up, though, fairly quickly once we're out here. I guess if it's meant to warm up today. I don't know if it's actually meant to warm up today, so may not warm up, but let's see. Today I thought I would just go over conception because just briefly today I've gotten I don't know if a lot of people have been under quarantine. They decide they wanted to get pregnant or what's going on, but I've gotten quite a few questions from patients in the office today about fertility and getting tested to see if they're fertile and what's going on because they're not pregnant. And I've gotten a handful of pregnancies since people have been coming back to the office on a more regular, normal basis. So I'll just go over what I tell the patients when they come in. Those who can't get pregnant, because those are the ones with the real concern, obviously. The people who have gotten pregnant, it's just they're concerned about having a healthy, normal pregnancy, but not about trying to get pregnant because it's already happened. So the big deal with fertility that I guess most people, it seems obvious to me if you think about it, but 60% of pregnancies are unplanned, and over 60% of pregnancies occur the first month, the second month, and the third month of no contraception. So the majority of pregnancies are easy peasy. And I've said before, I have 4 kids, and I had 5 pregnancies. Every single pregnancy occurred the first month, no contraception. And that's not special. That's not unique. That's normal. As I like to joke with the patients, that's why all the abortion clinics are still running strong, because these people are not trying to get pregnant. It just happens. So most pregnancies aren't going to be an issue, and 90% of couples, 90, will get pregnant without help in 1 year, in 12 months. So over 60% of pregnancies occur the first month, the second month, or the third month. Over 80% occur the first 6 months of no contraception, and 90% occur the first 12 months of no contraception. So the terminology we use is that the normal fertility, if you get pregnant within the first 3 months. We say there's a subfertility if someone does not get pregnant within 6 months and they're under 35 years old. If they're under 35 years old and they don't get pregnant in 12 months, then they're infertile. And if they're over 35 years old, we say they're subfertile if they don't get pregnant in the first 3 months, and infertile if they don't get pregnant in 6 months. So I guess the subfertility, really, that doesn't make much sense, but that's kind of the way we look at it. If someone's under 35, we give them more laxity. But realistically speaking, if you're under 35 and you're not pregnant the first 3 months, then there is a subfertility. There's something going on that's not totally normal fertility. And really, if you don't get pregnant after 6 months, technically that really should be infertile for everyone, regardless of your age. We should say you're infertile if you're not pregnant within the first 6 months. And but we give more laxity to the younger women, and then definitely if you're not pregnant in a year, that's completely outside of the normal range. So it's the old bell-shaped curve, 80% within the range of the majority of that bell-shaped curve, and then the fringes of the bell-shaped curve is at 90%. So another question I get, so that's the conception rate, and that definition is with intercourse 3 times a month. So once a week, with intercourse once a week throughout the month, and obviously not during the menstrual week, so that's why it's 3 times a month. Twice a week is fine. It's not really going to increase the fertility, because the sperm is survives within the reproductive tract for about 3 days. So that covers 3 days before someone potentially ovulates and 3 days afterwards. Now, scientifically speaking, the most fertile time frame is to have intercourse before the woman ovulates, so that the sperm's waiting there to greet her when the egg is produced. Sorry. So if someone is mid-cycle, to have intercourse right before mid-cycle or so, or a few days after their menstrual cycle has completely finished. If they have intercourse a few days after the menstrual cycle is completely finished, then that's going to be the best time frame. If they have intercourse after they've ovulated, then the pretty much it's really only about 24 hours or so after they've ovulated that they're going to still be fertile, on average. So the average cycle is about every 4 weeks. So if someone's menstrual period lasts about 5 days, maybe 6 days, you give it a day or two after the cycle, so all the aftermath is cleaned out. So you have intercourse around days 8 to day 10, with the first day of bleeding being day 1. You have intercourse around days 8 to day 10, then that's going to be a fertile day. Now, I've had patients say, "Oh, you're a gynecologist, so what did you do? What did you do special to get pregnant?" I actually didn't do anything, because the first pregnancy we weren't planning on getting pregnant, so there wasn't any rhyme or reason, and that really the only pregnancy we planned was the 4th one, and I guess I just have a laid back approach. I've seen so many patients with issues. I assumed that I would have a pregnancy issue, and I'd probably have to do a quick fertility evaluation or something before we decided we would get pregnant, have children. So I didn't do anything special for the first child. I wasn't planning on it. It was a surprise to me. Shockingly, it was a surprise. I just didn't think I'd get pregnant easily, because I was 35. So that's why elderly, advanced maternal age. And then the second baby, I got pregnant right as I was tapering off breastfeeding. So my first child was 3 months old when I got pregnant with the second one. So obviously we didn't plan to get pregnant when the first baby was 3 months old. And then the third one, we were thinking about it, but we didn't actually plan it. We were thinking about maybe the next few months, and then we got pregnant. And the 4th one was a miscarriage, so only the 5th one was planned. My husband's like, "Oh, I know you wanted to go for 4, maybe we should go for 4. And then the first month we went for the 4th. We got pregnant with the 4th, and she's the sweetest of the 4, so I'm glad we got the 4th baby snuck in there. But I tell patients, it's the old watched pot never boils. I never watched the pot, and it boiled. And I see patients who do a lot of planning, and I've actually had a large percentage of patients who go, listen, I have to get pregnant X month and X month because I want my child to be a Taurus or a Virgo, because that sign is more compatible with my sign, and I want a child I can get along well with. So a lot of people have like a big spreadsheet on when they have to have their child, or they're planning on doing XYZ, and they have like an 8-week time frame when they get pregnant. So it's just Murphy's Law. Every time someone has a big phenomenon, drama scene on when they can actually get pregnant, they don't get pregnant. We do a fertility evaluation. Nothing comes back suspicious or problematic. They look completely normal. They just can't get pregnant. So I do think that when people are really focused on getting pregnant, that's a stress for the body. And we do know that certain stressors can affect fertility. They've done research studies years ago, like over 30 years ago, where they did biopsies from inside the lining of women who were infertile, and they found that the microscopic tissue makeup of like a large percentage of the infertile women who were stressed out showed that it was a mismatch. It did not correlate in the fertility window to appropriately receive pregnancy and to allow it to latch on, to burrow in, and to have a pregnancy. So a lot of people are stressed out. I get people all the time. They say, I have a really stressful job. This is 2020, and even before 2020, what I'll say is, my practice is in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. So everyone is stressed out. Everyone has a stressful job. We're always swishing and running back and forth. And I mean, you can't because it's not that busy in New York City. It's not that populated. But normally, you can't walk down the sidewalk in Manhattan. When I go from Penn Station to my office, if I want to take a leisurely walk, I can't do that. It's just too many people. Everyone's bustling, and I have to walk at a pace. I have to walk quickly at a snap to get from my office to Penn Station, back and forth. You just get swept up in the momentum, and the momentum is a quick beat. So everyone who lives and works in Manhattan, New York, probably tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut potentially, everyone's stressed out. But it's not the external stress. 2020, a lot of people are stressed. It's how your body processes and deals with the stress, and that's what I think makes the difference. That's why some people lose weight when they get stressed. Some people gain weight when they get stressed. Some people lose their hair when they get stressed. And why some people can't get pregnant when they're stressed out, and others get pregnant totally fine. I have a stressful job. I'm a physician, and I didn't have any fertility, and I was older. I was 35. My age, the way it fell, I mean, the kids were born one after the other. The oldest three are each a year apart, and because of the miscarriage in between, the fourth one is 2.5 years from the third one. But the first and the second are 12 months apart. The second and the third are 18 months apart, and the third and the fourth are 2.5 years apart. So I didn't have, and the miscarriage was a year after the fourth baby, so my fourth child. So I never had fertility problems, and I have a stress job, but I don't think that I let the stress affect me mentally, and doesn't affect me bodily. So I think that's the difference. And a lot of people who are able to not really be swept away by the stress, they don't have issues from it. And some people who allow the stress to really take hold, or worry, or become anxious from it, they're going to have fertility issues. So We used to tell people years ago, oh, take a vacation, don't think about getting pregnant, and you'll get pregnant on vacation. And that's because you're less stressed out on vacation. I just tell patients nowadays, I just say, take a yoga class or try to do some meditation so you can really decrease the stress. Both yoga is called a meditative exercise, and meditation, of course, those have, through research, of course, did research to prove it, but they've done research on women who have exercise aerobically, or who do a lot of high impact exercises versus swimming versus yoga and Pilates and such. And the yoga, Pilates, and walking, those three exercises decrease the stress hormones that can be detected in the bloodstream. So we draw someone's blood, check for stress hormones, cortisol, C-reactive protein, and the such, interleukin factors, and they are measurably lower in those women. So there is a lot to be said for decreasing stress on the body, not just for the way a person feels, but for how their body's physiology responds to it. So I hope that's helpful information. This presentation went on longer than I expected it to. Thank you for joining me here at GYN Corner. This is Dr. McDaniel. Please hit the like, subscribe, and follow buttons, and check out the YouTube page, check out the podcast. They're all called GYN Corner. We're on all of the platforms: Spotify, Google, Apple, all of the podcast platforms for the presentations. The podcast, if you want to catch the old episodes, just subscribe for the podcast, because the podcast is about, I feel like the podcast is about a year behind the Facebook and the YouTubes. So that makes it easy to catch the old ones. Just hit the notifications and you get notified. You can check out the old ones. I have a lot of presentations on pregnancy and kind of bread and butter GYN for those. And then the YouTube channel is about I feel like it's maybe 4 to 5 weeks or so behind the Facebook presentation. So that's great. You can hit the notification buttons for that too. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.